time we talked about the balcony scene. Let's talk about naming and also look at this scene as it continues with Romeo and Juliet, not their first meeting, but their first intimate meeting. They're alone under the cover of lights, so quite a privacy actually. What we see as the scene moves forward is what I think is pretty interesting, and there is a difference between the written language versus the spoken language. And I was gonna let you use the French word langue, which is the written word, and parole, which is the spoken language. Just add it to your vocabulary. It's a pretty interesting idea to think about written and spoken languages. So let's think about that for a second before we talk about how Juliet considers ideal. When I write something down, it becomes static. It cannot change. History is written down and it's set. Much like our names are written down, it's hard to change our identity once it's given to us. But spoken language is not like that. Spoken language, when you speak it, it's gone away. It's not static, it's dynamic. It's when we speak, it has a personal meaning of how I say the word or how I understand what the word means, versus written language. The word means this, or you must write this way, but speaking is more free. So when we talk about dichotomy, young and old, the written language is the old in the book, static, conservative, traditional. The young will be the spoken language, which changes all the time with this modern ways of young people saying YOLO, things like that. IMO, BRB for the internet language. Spoken language is plastic, it can change. It's like a young person, it's full of potential. We see that in a text actually. Romeo says to Juliet, by a name I know, not know how to tell you who I am, by a name written down, I know not how to tell you who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. Right. And Juliet says, my ears, this is not a written down language, this is the spoken language. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, speaking, right? Yet I know the sound. This is spoken. And she says, art thou not Romeo the Montague? And he says back to her, neither, dear maid, if I dislike that identity. It doesn't matter to me. I can find a new identity in you. Then Juliet has a nice metaphor. I think we have the garden wall that Romeo had to climb over to get in, and we can see that as a metaphor because it's a blocking force. The garden wall that he climbs over, it's a metaphor, and he overcomes it, and he tells her, I flew over on the wings of love. Right. So basically love is overcoming the blocking force, and we can skip ahead a little bit and see a long passage from Juliet. It's very empowering for her character to give a female character so many lines to speak. This is the section that begins on line 85. Thou knowest the mask of night on my face, else would I blush. So she's telling, I'm very modest. You're hearing me in the middle of the night. I should tell you to go away, but I don't. And she does want him to think that she is very for it, that she's not proper. So she's very concerned about her appearance as well. And she says, tonight, fain would I dwell on form, but she can't dwell on form, because she cannot see him. It makes you think about her. Maybe she is not in love with his looks only. However, Romeo has sweet words, and that seems to be what the spoken words. She says to him, I know thou will see and I will take thy word, the spoken word, yet if thou swearest, thou may prove false. This is the idea that if you say, I can believe you, but if you swear, to swear means to make it static. She doesn't want that. She wants to use the power of voice. So pronounce it faithfully. Say the nay. Say, 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 say. She keeps repeating over and over again. But then there is a move for Juliet. The words of love are great, but words are not the same as actions. And that's what she wants to push Romeo towards. We see it clearly. She says, "But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those have more cunning." So this idea of proving to be true, not just saying I love you, but of doing this. And then later, Juliet's gonna tell Romeo, if you do love me, you have to do something. You have to marry me. So here we have a movement from a disregarding written language to the power of spoken language, and to have that spoken language become action. It reminds you of youthful people. They're full of action, activity, passion to get things done. Okay, what I want us to do now is look in the text and discuss why is the moon is a negative symbol. Generally, a moon is very positive. The moon has great power, controls the tides, symbol of fertility, symbol of the seasons change and the growth. It's a good thing. And in this book, it's not. Well, it's made clear in the text. Romeo says to Juliet, "I want to swear to you that I love you, and I will swear by," but then she stops him. "Don't swear by the moon." And in line 109, she says, "Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, inconstant, unfaithful, that monthly changes in less that thy love proves like was variable." So basically, you know the moon, sometimes it's full and beautiful in the sky, and sometimes it's just a small little thing. That's not the kind of love that Juliet wants. She wants a love like the sun. The sun rises and we know that it rises. We can say the minute and the hour of the sunrise, and we can depend on the sun rising. We know that the sun will rise because it always has risen, and that the sun that gives us life, swear by the sun if you want to swear at all. And sun is generally a negative symbol in literature. It's hot, oppressive, but here is a positive. Shakespeare is playing, he is switching them around. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is that Juliet uses another symbol of light, and it's very powerful image. It's lightning. We already understand how it's used in this text. The sun, how it's this how the sun, how the moon. But now let's think about the lightning. Lightning is cool and great. It shoots across the sky. It's unexpected. It's spontaneous. I want love like that. Now, that love is short-lived. It happens and then it's gone, forgotten. That's what the kind of love with the Juliet. Does she want this kind of love or not? So look for these images of light and think about what they might mean. Let's go forward and continue talking about light and Juliet. The name comes from July, and July is the month of sun, when the sun is high in the sky. We see this when we go to line 121. Romeo says to Juliet, "I'm sorry, this is Juliet's line. Good night, this bud of love, this flower of love. By summer's ripening breath, the sun makes our love grow." And Juliet is the sun, she is the July. And what I also like about this is that Romeo has come to her at night, but not an artificial night from Act 1, but a real night. But this artificial night has been gotten rid of, because within this very real night, there is still the sun, the light of Juliet. If we think about it, it's such a beautiful symbolic idea of what love is and what light is. Such a famous tale of love. Okay, I think we have our time for one more or less idea. Let's talk about a literary device called metonym. A metonym is related to a metaphor. We first define what a metonym is. It's kind of complicated, but it's when the part represents the whole. So I might say, instead of the King of England, I can say the crown of England. The crown that the king wears, part, can represent the whole, right? Metonyms, though, we can link them together. So I can say the sun rises, and that's their love. The stars represent their love, and then lightning represents their love. the moon, all those different things. We can link them together as parts and create a whole metaphor of types of love. The moon is the metonym for the inconstant love. The sun is the metonym for the constant and liking for a quick love, and then we can tie them all together for the metaphor of love. Okay, think about that a little bit. I know it's complicated, but if you can understand how metonyms work, you can create a controlling metaphor for a text, and it's great for interpretation, and it will really impress your teachers. Okay, let's pause there and we'll pick it up next time.